Hey guys, and welcome back. We have reached double digits here with our San Francisco Giants out of the park baseball 21 series. This is episode 10. It is the Rule 5, or excuse me, it is the first year player draft, and it's been, I don't know, it's been up and down. We're in first place by half, or excuse me, we're in second place, half a game back. Um, I think losing our coaching staff has really affected us in a negative way. Our pitching staff has been pretty bad. Our offense hasn't been very good. Yet somehow we are hanging in there. It's actually gotten to the point where we um, are going to be. Did it already go? Yeah, it hasn't gone through yet. We are going to be terminating our pitching coach. He's not aware of it yet, but we're going to be terminating him. We have a contract offer out to a guy who um, will better serve the better pitchers we have on our roster. I believe Nola and Luzardo are both considered ground ball pitchers, so I'm bringing in a pitching coach that will help those guys because you can see it. It hasn't been Luzardo hasn't been bad. I mean, he's 3-6, which obviously isn't good, but 3.93 ERA. He's been, I mean, he's put up a decent season. He's got a 3.26 FIP. Giving up less than a hit an inning, only giving up 5 home runs. I mean, he's pitched much better than his record. Our bullpen is stealing most of our victories. You can see Tariq Skubal leads the team with 7 wins. Edwin Diaz has 6, although he's injured with a diagnosis pending, and that's never a good sign. Jorge Molina's got 4 wins. And we did make a deal to shore up the pitching staff. We brought in Jacob Nix from Minnesota, and I'll show you in just a second. We traded, excuse me, we traded Dylan Cease, who we got in the offseason. Again, I wasn't anticipating Cease was going to be a reliever. He lost the majority of his stamina once we picked him up, and this contract is not manageable for a reliever. For a starter, sure, but not for a reliever. So I made the decision to move him, even though we picked him up in the offseason. Miguel Castro and Emilio Vargas, who is one that I was a little hesitant to give up, but I felt like he had hit his peak, and that peak was that of a number 5 starter / swingman. And in return, we pick up Jacob Nix, and you can see Nix is pretty good across the board. He's got 4 good pitches, really good control. He's a ground ball pitcher, good stamina, and he's been pretty good, for Minnesota this season. And I'm hoping he can stay healthy. Again, he's fragile. But he's also a lot cheaper. He's only making 1.7 in arbitration. So we slide Nix into that number 3 spot. And then we also we put him in the number 5 spot. Then we called up Nick Storrs, who had pitched really, really well in AAA so far this year. We're going to stick him in the rotation and see how it goes. Our rotation has not been good this year at all. Our bullpen has been pretty good, but our rotation has just not been good. Look at WAR. Knicks obviously generated all that with Minnesota, but Nola's at 1.4, a 4.56 ERA. Again, his ratings are probably better than what he's actually done. He's walking a whole lot more than he normally does, so hopefully that will come down. But Molina, Jimenez, Adams, those are all relievers. Edwin Diaz, Skubal, I mean, they all have WARs close to, if not over 1. We called up Will Klein, who was one of our initial draft picks in 2020. The Giants picked him, or we picked him rather, and you can see he's developed really nicely. He's turning into a pretty solid power arm, and he goes right into the bullpen. So we called him up. Offensively, Mookie Betts is having a really solid year. 2.5 WAR, 15 home runs already, 35 RBIs. 966 OPS. Adam Hazley and Matt Olson continue to play pretty well. Hazley's doing his thing from the leadoff spot. He's actually flashing a whole lot more power this year too, which is interesting. Matt Olson, again, already with 16 home runs, continues to do what we paid him for. Joey Bart's having a nice bounce back season. Luis Garcia is doing all right. The average is pretty low, but again, he's making a lot of that up through his defense. Eloy Jimenez is doing fine. I mean, he's a bat. He's not a great fielder, but he continues to hit well, and he's on pace for 32 home runs, which is just fine. Javi Baez is a problem. We tried to trade him, and nobody's interested in him, and the likelihood of him opting out of this contract is pretty low. So we're probably stuck with him for another couple years at $20 million. So he'll be a expensive all glove, no hit shortstop, which is a little concerning, but it is what it is. Nicky Lopez, I mean, he's been fine, I guess. Kevin Smith has actually outplayed him. See, Smith has had a nice bounce back season after last year. Put up an 890 OPS, 6 home runs in just 100 at bats. So he's had a nice bounce back season. Already more home runs than he had all of last season. And then the rest of the bench has been pretty terrible. Wyatt, Bailey, Keith, and Era. Although Keith has improved, ratings are starting to get better. He's just not there yet, but we gotta keep him on the roster because I don't want to lose him. So we'll just let him figure it out. So upgrading the bench is something, specifically the outfield. Finding an outfield bat is something that I'm definitely going to have to look into as we approach the trade deadline. But right now it is first year player draft time. So let's get to the draft. We are picking where? Last, right? We had a good record last year. Let's go ahead and get to the draft, and let's pick until our next pick. And wow, there are some decent bats here, it looks like. Bill Justice looks pretty solid across the board. Who does my scouting director want me to? Chris Warnecki, center fielder. I mean, he can play all three outfield positions. Went to Long Beach State. High caliber of competition. Good bat. Not a lot of power. But kind of your stereotypical center field prospect slash hitter. That's not a bad option. Know if that's the right choice though, or if Phil Justice is the right. But I don't really need. He's not nearly as good an outfielder. He's not as good a runner. I mean, I think overall, Warnecki's the better player, better speed, better base running ability, better defensively. That might be the pick, but let's just take a look and see. So we got a couple of decent starters. Steve Hall. It's not good. OSA likes him. Elwig. Mike Adada's. He's not bad. Flamethrower who will eventually burn a hitter or interesting. I think I'm gonna go with my scouting director's recommendations. There are a lot of starters here who are similar in quality, so I should be able to snag one of them next round. So yeah, we're gonna go with Chris Warnecki. That's gonna save us some money, and he looks like a pretty decent player, so I'm okay with that. Let's take a look at pictures. No, Mike Adada's still there, so perfect. He's going to be our second pick. 3 really good pitches, a 4th that could potentially develop. Good stuff, decent movement, good control. Went to Oregon State, pitched really well. Go to our next pick. Jonathan Wilcher, do we want to grab ourselves a reliever in the 3rd round? Ground ball pitcher. Throw 96 to 98. See if there are solid hitters left. Here's an interesting one. Dan Beckman. I suppose I should look at that would help. Sean Juniper. Like him. OSA likes him even more, but went to Pepperdine. He's got a good bat. He could be a potentially good right field player once Mookie's gone, so we can grab ourselves a Sean Juniper. Like to grab myself a field prospect. Like this guy. Play a lot of positions very, very well. Went to Cal State Fullerton. Not a great hitter, but great defensively, good speed. Yeah, Mark Henderson works. He's never going to be a great hitter, but that's okay. All right, so what do we have left? Still there, is he? No. Okay. Manny Valencia looks like a decent starting pitcher. He's only 19. That works. Manny Valencia. Then we'll start looking into. Let's go to players and batting rates. Let's find ourselves pitcher types that's actually a hitter type. Edgar Pearson. He's actually not a bad pitcher. He could actually be both. So I think Edgar Pearson is our choice because he actually is a starter who can also hit. He's a ground baller. Stuff isn't quite as important. No, that works. Edgar Pearson. It's not my turn. Shoot. Edgar Pearson's gone. All right. Well, that's disappointing. Ken Schweikert. Baseman. Pretty good bat. He's not very good. He's not good defensively, but 17. So, yeah, that works. Ken Schweikert, come on down. Do another pick or two and call it a draft here. Becto. Good power hitters left. Particular. Almagarba Partha. Rock Island, Illinois. Sure. 17 years old. He's 6'6", 205. Sure, we can draft. All right, let's call it. Computer auto draft. All right, let's negotiate. That's right. We had an extra second round pick this year from lost Aaron Nola. So it's okay. I like Adada in the second round. You know, my only concern obviously is that their demands are really, really low. So that leaves me a little concerned that maybe they aren't as good as my scouts think they are. And I got a good scout. Most of these guys were rated either average or high, so they should be close to these ratings anyway. And we saved a bunch of money on this year's draft, which is good because money's a potential issue as we go through the end of this season. We have a little bit of money for extensions, not a ton. We've got some big names locked up at least through next season. Matt Olson's locked up to the end of next year. Edwin Diaz, we could shave some money there, especially depending on what this injury diagnosis is. If he's done for an extended period of time, then we'll shave $11 million off the books there. But beyond that, there really aren't any contracts here that I'm looking to unload. Most of these players are still reasonably priced in arbitration, so we'll see how it goes. So we are I think I'm going to be looking for another pitcher. Another starting pitcher. Eduardo Rodriguez has been less than impressive. So another starting pitcher, and then definitely an outfield bat, a backup, an outfielder that can actually hit and come off the bench. So, what is there anything available right now? Block. Not really. I mean, Anthony Santander is a bat and can hit all three outfield positions. Pretty good against both lefties and righties. He's a free agent at the end of this year, which is fine. What would Baltimore? All right, well, we can make that happen right now. 24-year-old Jake Plastiak. Um, yeah, that works. So, and we are going to send down Valera. Santander up. Sure, we'll put the backup at every position. Only thing he can't really play center field, but that's fine. I mean, he's not going to play there that often. So I think that improves our bench some. I mean, Santander's put up an 846 OPS. We have 13 pitchers. I don't know that we need 13 pitchers, so I might look to move a pitcher or depending on how long Diaz is out for, and call up another bat. Call up another bat. I don't know who, because most of these guys are not really any better than what I have up there, and I don't really need. I mean, Fabian could get his shot. Yes, he's coming along. It's slow, but he's coming along. Califut, he still needs some time, although he's getting there. He's going to be a really interesting first baseman. Not a lot of power, like a Sean Casey style first baseman, maybe. Let's get him on the 40-man too, so I don't. Listen, while I'm looking at this, I may as well put people in the 40 that I absolutely want there. So, McAble doing okay. Oh, that's right, we just made him a starter, so be some time before we see some results there. A lot of players that think they should be in the major leagues. Don't have that much space. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sim ahead. Parker Ball, our top prospect, is coming along nicely in A ball. Again, we gotta kind of force his hand here a little bit because he's 23. So probably at the international signings, I'll move him up to Double A, and hope that forces the movement and control up a little bit. His whip is kind of high, so that's a little concerning. Something tells me that his FIP is a lot higher than his ERA. His FIP's 4.47, so he looks like he's out pitching his ERA a little bit. So hopefully the next month he'll start to come around a little. But yeah, I think we need to make a move offensively. We need to make a move on the pitching side of things, and yeah, hopefully this is the year for us. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So international free agency is coming up, and I'll see you guys. Then. All right, guys. It is international free agency, and you can see it was a good month, and I'm not really sure how this happened, but we got incredibly lucky in June. I was looking for some starting pitching help, and so I just went to the free agency list, and I saw something that caught my eye. So I went in and I made an offer, and I was able to sign a a free agent pitcher to a basically a half-year contract. Signed him for the rest of this season, and we're going to pay him probably about $20 million for half a season. Now, when you see the name, I'll show you the history, and I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to complain about it. So we signed Shohei Ohtani to a 1 year contract worth. I mean, technically it's worth $38 million, but it was only for half a season. He signed a 7 year, $245 million contract with the Cubs in December. They placed him on waivers on the on the second or third day of April, and I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought maybe they were seeing if anybody would take the contract, and they ended up releasing him on the 8th. Don't understand why. He made one start with Chicago, pitched 7 1/3 innings, gave up no runs, struck out 13 in 7 1/3 innings. He played in the field for 3 games, went 5 for 8 with 3 home runs, and they cut him. I'm assuming it's a bug, but since I've never seen it before, I allowed it, I guess, for lack of a better term. If this had been a history of, high price pitchers being waived by teams, potentially a bug, but I'm not sure what it is. So I'm going to chalk it up to something happened on his time in the North Side and he didn't want to be there. So they cut him or whatever. I don't know. At any rate, we picked him up, plugged him into our rotation. We're going to make room for him in the lineup because he's a very, very good hitter. You can see against righties he's pretty elite. Against lefties he's just very, very good. So we are going to put him in the lineup against right-handed players. Pitchers he'll play twice a week in left and center, and then against left-handers I'm going to have him lead off against left-handers. He has started to learn the outfield a little bit. If he can just be passable, his defense isn't going to be very good, but between his bat and his pitching, I'm hoping it more than makes up for it. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but again, I'm not gonna look a gift horse, as they say. Anthony Santander, our other pickup, has done really well in a limited amount of time. 21 games, 4 starts. He's got 4 home runs in that, so he's played well as well. Yeah, so our rotation is now Nola, Luzardo, Rodriguez, Ohtani, and Nix, which is a whole lot better than it was a month ago. Nola and Luzardo have started to kind of course correct a little bit, and I think a lot of that has to do with the new pitching coach, Paul Zwercher. You can see his relationship with our 4 best starters, Luzardo, Nix, Nola, and Ohtani. That's obviously critical. So he came in and he's done a nice job. Offensively, things are, we're middle of the pack offensively. Our pitching, our bullpen specifically, has been very, very good. Our starters are starting to come around a little bit. If you look at our lineup, Betts and Hazley are at almost 3 WAR each. Hazley's going to sit a bunch against lefties, and I don't know how thrilled he's going to be about that, but it is what it is. He'll deal with it this season, and Ohtani will probably move on at the end of the season. It's only money. So Matt Olson continues to hit well. He's up to 22 home runs. Eloy Jimenez had a really nice month of June. 300, 375, 67, 937 OPS, 2 straight months of over 300. So his bat's coming along. Joey Bart continues to have a bit of a bounce back season. And then everybody else has been kind of, Smith has been, in his role, been pretty good. Santander's been very good since he's come over, but Lopez and Baez have been pretty trash. But that's, again, it is what it is. So, we're stuck with Javi's contract, so we may as well live with it. Pitching wise, Yeah, Lazardo and Nola are starting to come around a little bit. Rodriguez is starting to come around. So things are starting to look up on the pitching side of things, which is nice. We have the offensive talent to get it done. So I think everybody's sort of reverting back to that mark where you expect them to be, I guess, come the beginning of the season. So let's take a look at the international amateurs, see if there's any moves we want to make there, and then we will move on. So we got a really good pitcher, a couple of decent hitters. So if we look at Kui Lai Ta, he's a 16-year-old, very good, 3.5 star, high rate or high scout accuracy, which is Danny Lopez, very good bat. Yeah, so I think it really comes down to whether or not we want the pitching prospect or the hitting prospect, right? I think we're going to go with the pitching prospect. 89 stamina. Only 16 years old. Yeah, we're going to go with the pitching prospect. Yeah, I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to do it. There's no such thing as a pitching prospect, but if you can find one that's elite, you put yourself in a better position long term. So that's what we're going to do there. All right, so what do we? I don't think we really need anything here leading up to the trade deadline. Our rotation has pretty much solidified itself. Our lineup is really solid now. Our bullpen's been very good all year. I don't want to necessarily trade for a second baseman. We've got Tolentino, who is hurt right now, but he'll be back in 2 weeks, and he will probably be our starting second baseman next year. Maybe can find like an elite defensive second baseman, maybe. Coming. It's not. Yeah, so I think we're gonna hold tight. We'll see if anything comes across, but we can deal with Lopez and Smith as our second base combination right now. We're getting enough offense out of the top of our lineup that we don't need a ton at the bottom. We just need them to play good defense, especially having in a position where we've got Ohtani playing center field against lefties. We're gonna need better defense up the middle and in the corners to counteract for that. So, yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and sim ahead to the trade deadline. Oops. And if we made any moves, I'll go over them. If not, we'll go over the stats and we'll call it an episode. So be right back. All right, guys, we are back. It is the trade deadline. And I think, as I said, I think we're pretty much just going to hold pat. Picking up Ohtani from free agency has really helped our rotation. Overall, we had an okay month, 14 and 10. But, it's 4 solid months in a row. So we keep that up, and it puts us in a pretty good position to be looking at the postseason. We're still in first place, game and a half up on the Dodgers. Financially, and we'll look at stats in a minute, but financially, we're still looking okay. We don't have much money left for this year, but it won't really be needed. We have some money for extensions. We've looked at this a few times, but there are some players here with some team options, so we can free up some money. Nicky Lopez, Joe Jimenez, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Edwin Diaz. Between the 3 of them, that's about $20 million that I can free up if I need to. And if we have to make a move, we will. But I think financially we'll be okay going to next season. Let's take a look really quickly at stats and kind of see where we stand come July 31st. From a batting perspective, Mookie Betts, Adam Hazley still lead the team in WAR, both approaching 4 WAR. And Hazley has continued to get enough playing time that he's certainly not unhappy. He still plays almost every day. And he's having a really, really nice season, putting up that 3.6 WAR out of the leadoff hole, 390 on base percentage, 514 slugging. He's been really good. Same with Betts, 26 home runs, 64 RBIs, 916 OPS, 142 OPS plus. Mookie's been terrific in his second season in the Bay. Eloy Jimenez has really stepped up. He's had a really solid couple of months in a row here. You can see June and July, or actually May, June, and July. He's gotten better and better. Last month, 333, 375, 720 slugging in the month of July. He's come along nicely. So like what we're getting out of Eloy this season. Matt Olson continues to mash for us at first base, putting up that 544 slugging, 350 base, leads the team in home runs. We got 3 players with approaching 30 home runs. So the lack of home run power in San Francisco is clearly a thing of the past. Kevin Smith having just a breakout season. I don't know where this came from. Look at his season last year, 231, 301, 348. This year he's hitting 321 with a 642 slugging. The month of July, he was just a house of fire. 421, 439, 816 in 12 games in July. He has been everything we could have possibly wanted at second base after trading Keston Hiura. Joey Bart, the average is still a little light, but I mean, I think he's settled into what he is, which is about a 750 OPS guy. He's going to hit about 20 home runs here and play solid defense, and that's fine. Luis Garcia's had a bit of a down season, playing really good defensively, but his bat has struggled this year. Santander, since he came over from Baltimore, has tailed off a little, but he's providing some pop. 5 home runs in 41 games, primarily as a pinch hitter at this point. Since we picked up Ohtani, and I'll show you Ohtani's stats here in a minute. Nicky Lopez, he's one and done with us. This will be his lone year with us, I think, but he's been serviceable. Baez has had a better season than he had last year, but the bat just isn't what we had hoped for after bringing him over from the Cubs back in 2022. So it is what it is. You're not going to hit them all. So, and then if we go to pitching, so we'll look at Ohtani first, just so you can see his hitting stats. So with us, he's 7-7 with a 2.91 ERA, 40 strikeouts in 43 innings, put up a 1.2 WAR in 7 starts so far. So pitching wise, he's been very, very good, and at the plate, he's been excellent as well. Putting up a 960 OPS, 600 slugging, 360 on base percentage, 9 home runs in 26 games. So he's getting a lot of playing time, and he's hitting quite well as well. So solid pickup. Yeah, he wants $40 million. So it doesn't look like we'll be bringing him back next season, but that's okay. Jesus Luzardo, he's only 8-8, but he's put up almost 4 WAR on the year. His FIP's only 3.01, so he's pitched really, really well. His record is not indicative of how well he's pitched. Only giving up 7 home runs in 127 innings. He's been great. Jacob Nix is 2-0 with us with a 3.82 ERA. He's been really good since he came over as well in 7 starts. Only 6 walks, 27 Ks. He's been really good as well, so that's been a nice addition. Aaron Nola's had a bit of a rough year in terms of ERA, but he's still at almost 3 WAR. Actually, let me do it this way. He's still at almost 3 WAR. The FIP is almost a full run lower than the ERA, so I'm hoping these next 2 months he will turn it around a bit. Eduardo Rodriguez, another one. ERA is significantly higher than the FIP, but he's probably, I don't know if he's on a one and done. I mean, his contract is really manageable, 3.6 next year, and for a number 5 starter with these kind of ratings, you're going to have a difficult time finding something better than that. So we may see how the rest of the season plays out and then go. Jorge Molina with another solid season as our closer, 2.06 ERA this year, striking out 10.9 per 9. Walks are still a bit of an issue, but nothing to be too concerned about. Joe Jimenez has been just everything we could have possibly wanted. Hasn't given up a single home run in 61 innings, 74 strikeouts in 61 innings. He's been great. Talked about Nix, talked about Ohtani, Austin Adams, still striking out a ton of batters, 17.4 per 9. His contract is up at the end of this season, and he's probably going to want to get paid, so this will likely be his last season. Edwin Diaz hasn't been bad, but for $11 million, he hasn't been great. I mean, he's still striking out a ton of guys, 15 per 9, but for $11 million, we'll probably turn down that team option and let him walk. Tariq Skubal is having just a weird season. Pitched in 45 games, and he's 12-1 leads the team in wins, 95 strikeouts in 66 innings. He's having early, kind of his third, really his fourth straight solid year out of the bullpen with us. They clearly isn't a starter, but that's fine. I mean, there's value in this type of output as a middle reliever. So he's been really good. Corey has been okay. Kay has been okay as our number 5. He's recently was moved to the bullpen when we got Otani. And then Will Klein, who is our, I guess you could say, our top relief prospect, has come up and struggled a bit. His FIP's pretty high, BABIP's pretty high, so hopefully those will even out and the numbers will come down. So that's pretty much where we are. I don't. There really isn't anybody that I would want to make a run at on this trade deadline day. The only position I'd really look to upgrade this season would be second base, and there really isn't a second baseman that's head and shoulders better than what we have. I suppose we could go after another reliever and try to lengthen that bullpen a little bit more. But even there's actually, let's do it like this. Look at all relievers. I mean, maybe we could go after someone like Dominguez or Taylor and really try to lengthen that bullpen. I mean, Taylor's 33. What's he making this year? Making 7.9. I don't even know if I can afford that. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to actually no, because we have about 3 million left in the tank this year. Yeah, we could afford. Question is, do we want to make that kind of move? I'll tell you what. I'll mess around with this a little bit, and I'll see what I can do, and if I can make a move, I'll come back, prior to prior to the end of the season. I mean, I don't know if a reliever trade is enough to do a whole segment in a video about, but I'll mess around with it and see if there's somebody available and see if I can make something work like this. I mean, Sir Anthony Dominguez is making 7.2 this season. Free agent at the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, I might mess around and see if I can pick up another bullpen piece. So, when we come back, so then this will be the end of this episode. It'll be the end of the season. When we come to the next one, we'll do kind of a recap of the season. We'll hopefully run through the playoffs in a successful run. And then depending on how that goes, we'll either do the off season or we'll play through the World Series. So, as always, leave a like, subscribe, let me know your thoughts, and until we talk again, guys, take care. Thank you.